Fancy. Okay. I have 10 minutes to do this. Or 7 minutes, 8 minutes. All right. Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Harper, and I am here today to talk to you about how the Nazis actually weren't all that bad. I know the Nazis got a bad rap a little bit earlier, but they really weren't that bad. I mean, look at all the good things that came out of the Nazi regime. I mean, increased economic growth. They took a country ravaged by war where children were dying of starvation, and they brought it to economic prosperity. I mean, sure, they had the whole, kill all the deplorables thing, and they had the whole, take over the world thing, but those were small percentages of their operation. I mean, overall, if you look at what they did with their money, they really brought Germany back up. They provided universal health care, they built the Autobahn, they received Nobel Peace Prizes up until 1939, and they did all these great things. Have I convinced you guys that the Nazis were a legitimate organization? No? Why not? Is it possibly because they killed millions of innocent people? Is it because the fact that they killed millions of innocent people disqualifies them from being a good government? Well, I hate to tell you guys today, but today we have our own Holocaust going on. We have our own Holocaust of millions of people quietly dying all over America. And the organization that is majorly responsible for carrying out, advocating, and politically fighting for this Holocaust is defended by the church and by others because of the good things they do. That organization is Planned Parenthood. Now, Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry is defended by their proponents because of the small percentage of their operations, which is abortion, because of all the good things they do. Well, I'm here to tell you today that if you are pro-life, if you are biblically pro-life, you have to be anti-Planned Parenthood. I didn't say you should be, I said you have to be. The fact that Planned Parenthood, in your worldview, in my worldview, destroys innocent lives, disqualifies them from being a legitimate women's health care provider. Now, we're going to break this down logically a little bit, so math majors strap in. It's going to be a lot of fun, deductive logic 101. First of all, we're going to start with my handy flow chart. All right, so does anyone here disagree with the premise that murder is wrong? I have FBI on speed dial. No, okay, cool. Does anybody disagree if I define murder as willfully or intentionally destroying innocent life? Still no disagreement? All right, that's easy. Sweet, so that is murder. Murder is wrong, biblically, ethically, legally. Would anyone disagree that the unborn are innocent people? I mean, they haven't come into the world, so they haven't really had the chance to commit any crimes against humanity. Anybody? No? Okay. The unborn are innocent people. We know that theologically, biologically. They're actually referred to as babies on the National Institute of Health's website. You can go look that up. All right. Now, do we all agree that abortion destroys unborn people? Yes? You see where I'm getting at? Is you tracking with me? Abortion, if abortion destroys unborn people, and we believe that the unborn are innocent people, then abortion is the intentional destruction of innocent life, which makes abortion murder. Now, if abortion is murder, then Planned Parenthood performing, advocating for, and legally and funding abortion means that Planned Parenthood commits murder, which disqualifies them from being a healthcare provider or from having any of our support whatsoever. If you accept the idea that personhood begins at conception, and I'll get to my awesome analogy in a minute, then you accept inherently the concept that ripping up that conceived being is murder. There's no way around it. Now, I'm going to flesh this out with a little bit of analogy. Let's pretend this whole pastor thing kind of falls through. My second dream job is founding a fast food restaurant. Obviously, what little boy doesn't want to found a fast food restaurant and serve really disgusting greasy burgers to increase the diabetes rate? Now, I found my fast food restaurant, and I serve hundreds of thousands of awesome customers. But let's pretend for a minute that 1 out of every 100,000 burgers I serve, I aim to spike with rice in it, with a lethal dose of poison that will inevitably kill the person who consumes it. But it's okay, because 99,999 of my customers are still satisfied, right? I'm still serving 99,999 perfectly healthy, good fast food burgers. It's only one person that dies out of every 100,000 that visits my restaurant. Would you guys call me a legitimate restaurant? Would you guys advocate for me to be shut down? Yes, anybody would. I would be thrown in prison and called a quack and fined for murder, as I should be. It wouldn't matter what I do with the other burgers. I could donate the 99,999 burgers to homeless veterans, and you would still call for me to be shut down because I'm intentionally destroying one life. It doesn't matter how many burgers I serve. As long as I'm spiking one with poison, I am an unethical organization. And I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that Planned Parenthood and the entire abortion industry destroys innocent life, regardless of the other arguments you can make for or against them, means that it is unethical from a biblical standpoint to support, advocate for, or stand for the abortion industry. Just like with my fast food restaurant, it doesn't matter how many of my services are good. If I'm intentionally destroying an innocent life, I should be shut down. No questions asked. So, I'd like to move to my conclusion. If you accept that, and you are understandably agitated that there's an abortion industry that donates millions of dollars to keeping abortion going in this nation, to convincing young women they need abortion. If you are agitated that Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest single provider of abortion, which donated $30 million to promoting pro-abortion candidates in the last election cycle. If you're agitated that your tax dollars go to that organization, that organization is defended in our culture as a legitimate organization and as the epitome of women's health care, well, then you have to do something about it. But the question is, what can you do? I mean, that's a question I've asked a lot. You're just 1 out of 300 million Americans. What can you do? Well, I'm here today to tell you there are 3 things you can do, actually, quite easily. First, you can pray. Prayer is the primary weapon given to us as Christians in Ephesians 6. Prayer is the way that we as Christians change the trajectory of our world. Pray for the women entering Planned Parenthood. Guys, they're not the aggressors, they're the victims. Pray for the women entering Planned Parenthood. Pray for alternative services, other pregnancy centers that try to provide women with the services they need and the knowledge they need to go through with their pregnancy. Pray for our lawmakers. Pray for the workers who are trapped in the abortion industry, that they would see the light, that they would come out. Pray for the doctors who perform abortions every day, hundreds of thousands of abortions every year. Secondly, fight politically. Now, many of you in here, I have no doubt, not political people or consider yourself not political people, but I'm here today to tell you that it doesn't matter. You see, I was not political in high school. I grew up in a political family. My family doesn't talk politics much, now they do, but they didn't back at the time. Thousands of people died so that we could have the privilege of a voice and a vote. And we don't have a choice as Christians to stand idly by and not do anything. That's not a recourse given to us in the scriptures. So if this is something you care about, which I would hope that all of you do, if this is something that you find morally repugnant, speak up. Vote. Write a letter to your congressman. Use the political power that's been given to you to take a stand for what's right. As the Bible says, defend the defenseless. And then finally, educate. I cannot stress this enough. Educate, educate. Don't take my word for it. Educate. Go look up the House Select Panel on Infant Lives, which is currently a government entity investigating Planned Parenthood. Go look up the Planned Parenthood's website. I did half of my research for Persuasive Speech on Abortion on Planned Parenthood's website back in high school. Go look up the other side. Look up Planned Parenthood. Educate yourself, please. Start the dialogue. Planned Parenthood has been the golden calf of women's health care for too long. We have pushed it under the rug. We don't talk about it. We stigmatize it. Talk about it. Start this dialogue. Ask questions. Start this dialogue with your family, your friends who disagree. And keep the dialogue going. This issue is too important to stay silent. So, as we walk out of here today, there are 2 options facing all of us. We can either sit idly by, shove it under the rug, let it stand behind the veil of controversy, and pretend that it's all going to be okay. Or we can take a stand using one or all of the 3 methods given to us. The question is not, are you going to do something? The question is, which one are all of us going to do today? Thank you. Questions? Yes.
What is your argument against? And that was awesome, by the way. Totally great. You always do a good job. But what is your argument against when people say, well, Republicans or Christians or conservatives, they fight for the babies before they're born, but they don't fight for them after they're born with adoption and all those different things?
Well, inherently it's untrue. I don't know if you've ever heard a statistic that they never use a statistic to back it up, but Christians are by far the largest adopters. Most adoption organizations are Christians or started by Christians, so it's a completely invalid argument from the get-go. But I do agree that we can't separate the two. We can't just say, okay, and which both sides try to do. They try to say, okay, we can either fight for people outside the womb or fight for people in the womb, but we can't do both. And that's simply not true. We can fight for an end to the destruction of innocent life as well as fight for the people outside the room, contributing to charities, helping women who are in, Kristen works at the Blue Ridge Women's Center right now, and she's helping women who are considering, she's helping women who are considering abortion to choose other options and to see alternatives and to provide them baby clothes and food and materials they need. And so we can do both of those things at the exact same time. Actually, just a few Saturdays ago, a team from the Pro-Life Club, I think I've told you guys before about silent counseling, we go out to the Planned Parenthood every Saturday in Roanoke, and we offer resources and care and alternatives to the women out there and prayer. And a few Saturdays ago, we were out there, or I wasn't out there, but some of our team members were out there, and there was a woman there from 40 Days for Life, an older woman, and she was calling out to this young woman who was going in for an abortion. And the young woman actually came over to her to speak to her, and she said, hey, I don't want to get this abortion, but I don't know what to do. I don't want to adopt to a stranger. I don't want to just put her, the baby up for adoption. I have no recourse. And the woman said, in a crazy act of the Holy Spirit coming upon her, she said, I'll take your child. Her and her husband wanted children, but they couldn't have children. They tried several times. And she said, let me text my husband. I will take your child. And I'll help you through this. If you don't get the abortion, I will be with you every week of this pregnancy. And so she called her husband, and her husband, in another crazy act of the Holy Spirit, said, yes, do it. Don't think about it. And so she went over and she said, I'll help you. And as far as I've last heard, the lady was still meeting up with her regularly. They're doing counseling. She's mentoring her. And when the lady has the child, she will give it to the legal guardianship of this Christian couple. And so that's an example of how you can be out there calling out, don't do this. Don't get that abortion. You're stronger than this. You're better than this. God has a plan for this child. While also being there for the women and for the children once they're born. I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, totally.
Definitely. Any other questions? No, anyone wants to yell at me, hold up a pink Planned Parenthood sign? All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.